Sammy, by the way.
Linda.
Cheers. I think we can begin if everyone's finding their seats. Wow, that happened quickly. Commanding presence I have. Welcome to the 2024 Victorian Premier's Literary Awards. My name is Sammy Shah, and I'm a writer, I'm a comedian, and more importantly, I'm your MC for this evening. To begin the awards, thank you very much. To begin the awards, I'd like to invite the Wurundjeri elder, Uncle Bill Nicholson, to the stage to welcome us to country. Thank you.
Thank you for the kind introduction. And I'd also like to thank the Wheeler Centre and everyone behind the awards night tonight for literacy for allowing me to take a short period of your time to conduct a welcome to country. Just keep in mind, when I mean a great sign of respect, I always connect things back to cultural ways of doing things. And just out the back of where I'm standing right now, just on the other side of the Birrarung there at what's now known as the Botanical Gardens, a place called Tuddock. You might have heard of Toorak, that's where it gets its name. But Tuddock was a ceremonial place, and I have no doubt whatsoever that the Tandaram Naji, the formal ceremonial process of welcoming people to country to conduct their business was conducted over there. So I feel that respect in the modern day by being invited here to conduct a welcome to country speech. So Nun Gudjan, thank you for that. I welcome you for a reason or a purpose. And that purpose is to celebrate the great writers here tonight. I greet you and good day from the Wurundjeri community. My name's Uncle Bill Nicholson. I'm very fortunate that my father gave me a chance to learn my people's story earlier in my life, because my people's story is not an easy one to find, and it's not an easy one to teach either, concerning especially our history. But I thank Dad for that, because he allowed me to learn my people's story, to become an elder in my community. And talking about elders, I'd like to acknowledge my elders past. For a very special reason, I guess. I wouldn't be here without them. Their strength, their resilience and their wisdom allowed me, my family and my community to be here today in 2024. I'd also like to extend, I believe there may be some Indigenous writers here and community members, so I'd like to acknowledge you fellas and your elders. I'd like to extend that acknowledgement to community leaders here today. From a cultural point of view, community leaders convey the wants and needs of their community. That's why we thrived on this land for thousands of years. I'd also like to acknowledge our environmental leaders here today, of all backgrounds and cultures. We need you more than ever. Australia as a continent environmentally is not very healthy at the moment, and our culture says the health of the country relates to the health of the people. Parks Victoria stole that motto off us, if you've ever seen it on their vehicles or on their website. I'd also like to acknowledge cultural leaders here today of any culture. The whole world pretty much is represented on Wurundjeri land these days. As an elder, I'd like to encourage you, and having writers here in the room, no doubt you would get this straight away, but get out and tell your story. It's how people start listening and mutual respect is built. And in our language, Jindiwarabak Balak means unity in the community. We need to keep striving towards that with all the diversity that now lives on Aboriginal lands throughout Australia and here on Wurundjeri lands around Naarm and Melbourne. Our culture, very responsible. I'd like to extend that responsibility to all, and that relates to looking after each other and looking after country. The colonial invasion of our land was brutal, and that's putting it as nicely as I can. I do have a frustration from it that the colony now known Victoria did not allow us to create economic self-determination, and unfortunately many of our communities suffer to this day because of it. Let's learn from the past. Let's never let this attitude live on this land anymore. We don't want to pass it down to our kids. So there's another challenge for you. Let's eradicate racial discrimination. Nungujin, thank you. The Welcome to Country ceremony is like a passport. It allows you access, I'll use modern words, to feel culturally safe to conduct your business. The smoking ceremony is a spiritual cleansing part of it. We are a very spiritual culture. I've always got this silly joke that they won't let me light fires in here, maybe one day. But I'd just like to say, to feel truly welcome to this land, respect people, country and culture is mandatory from an unceded sovereign law of this land. I feel that tonight, so on behalf of myself and my ancestors and my community, Waminjika Waranjeri Bik, welcome Wurundjeri country, and congratulations to the future winners of the awards. So thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Erin Vincent and I'm the CEO of the Wheeler Centre. Firstly, I'd like to thank Uncle Bill for that powerful welcome to country and for being here to welcome everyone. I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we're gathered this evening, the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people of the Kulin Nation, and acknowledge First Nations people of Australia as the first storytellers and creators of culture. And so much of that culture, as Uncle Bill just shared, has been shared here beside the beautiful Birrarung. I pay my respects to elders of this community, past and present, to First Nations writers and readers here today, and to First Nations people all over the country who may be joining us via live stream tonight. I'd also like to thank the wonderful Sammy Shah, who's going to be our fantastic host this evening. Welcome everyone to the 2024 Victorian Premiers Literary Awards. So lovely to see everyone catching up, having not seen each other, obviously, since the summer break, and how wonderful to start the year with this special event. There really is no time quite like the summer to lose ourselves in books, and it's fitting tonight that we honour and celebrate some of the nation's finest authors and storytellers. Over the holidays, my 7-year-old asked me what was involved in writing a book that a lot of people would buy. I really should have brought him along tonight. I ran him through what I thought it took and tried to explain just how much work goes into writing a book while also trying not to put him off. I encouraged him to think of an idea and make a start. He nodded enthusiastically, as though he already had a bestseller taken care of inside of him. But how would we go about selling a lot of copies, he asked. I told him we'd probably need a publisher to help you with that. He so innocently and unassumingly asked me if I happened to know any. Before I could even answer, he said, "Don't worry, Mum, I'm going to use Google to help me track one down." The book, like so many, is a work in progress. And it was a beautiful reminder to me of how many of us dream of writing books at some point in our lives, how few of us go on to do it, and how only the gifted produce work that is as compelling as those shortlisted for these awards. The Victorian Premiers Literary Awards are administered by the Wheeler Centre on behalf of the Premier, and it is a great honour for all of us at the Centre to be involved. The awards include the single most valuable literary prize in the country, a demonstration of the state government's commitment to literary excellence. As well as the many talented writers we have in the room, it is my great pleasure to welcome tonight Councillor Jamal Hakim from the City of Melbourne. We thank you for the support you give the Wheeler Centre. One of our Wheeler Centre patrons, Tony Wheeler, whose shared vision with Maureen Wheeler allowed the Centre for Books, Writing and Ideas to be realised and to become the unique cultural institution it is today. The Wheeler Centre's Chair, Kate Tawney, and our wonderful board members, many of whom are here this evening. We thank you for your commitment and unwavering support. The dedicated team at Creative Victoria, thank you for valuing not just our contribution to the arts, but that of all creative arts organisations across the state. Adrian Collette from Creative Australia, it's great to have you here. And I would like to extend my thanks to the Wheeler Centre partners who have helped make tonight's celebration so special. As a non-profit organisation, your support is vital to what we do. Thank you to our friends at The Edge, Fed Square, for supporting our ceremony with this beautiful space, and to Montalto for providing us with their quality wine. To our long-standing accommodation partners at the Sofitel, Clive, Emily and Terence, thank you. And to Readings, our bookseller this evening, I'd also like to extend my thanks to RMIT Culture for supporting the winner of the Unpublished Manuscript category. It takes a huge amount of work and goodwill to deliver these awards, and I want to thank the passionate and dedicated team at the Wheeler Centre. In particular, Xanthia O'Connor, who so calmly and so seamlessly works behind the scenes, wrangling books, organising judges in the lead up to this event, supported by Veronica Sullivan and the rest of the programming team and our brilliant marketing team led by Caroline Douglas. A big heartfelt shout out to our judges. Thank you for your commitment to this process. We absolutely couldn't do this without you, and we thank you so much. It is a real pleasure to be with you tonight and have you all in this room, writers, booksellers, publishers, agents, librarians and readers of all kinds. The Wheeler Centre and the work we do would not be possible without your contributions to the literary sector, and for that we're deeply grateful to you all. It's a privilege to lead an organisation that supports writers at all stages of their career, emerging and unpublished to established and best-selling, and all the parts in between. I speak on behalf of everyone at the Centre that it gives us great joy to be reminded of the many recipients of our supportive writers programs, Next Chapter and the Hot Desk Fellowships, who have gone on to have their work recognised by these very awards. Finally, I'd like to congratulate all of the authors who have been shortlisted and highly commended tonight. Your work stood out from a record number of entries, more than 800 across 8 categories, which is an incredible achievement in itself. These stories span many genres and age groups and reflect the depth and breadth of literary talent in Australia right now. The authors navigate a range of complex issues through exceptional and groundbreaking storytelling. Their work moves us, challenges our thinking, and connects us all through conversation. The winners of the main suite of awards, the prizes for fiction, non-fiction, drama, poetry, Indigenous writing, children's literature, and writing for young adults, each received $25,000. The winner of the award for an unpublished manuscript receives $15,000 in prize money and a 2-week residency at the McCraith House in Dromana. Thank you, RMIT Culture. The category winners go on to contest the overall Victorian Prize for Literature, worth an additional $100,000. And we should all be proud that this is the single richest literary award in the country and has changed the lives of previous winners. The Premier and Minister for Creative Industries can't be here with us tonight, but it is my pleasure to introduce this very special message from the Victorian Premier, the Honourable Jacinta Allen.
Victoria is a state of readers. From local libraries and bookshops to regional book fairs and writers' festivals, we love to celebrate good writing. And I'm so pleased that the Victorian Premier's Literary Awards are part of that celebration. A good book takes you on a journey, no matter who you are or where you've come from. It's a chance to step into another place, another time, and imagine the possibilities. This year, I'm thrilled to see a new category of children's literature. As a family, we love to read, and as a parent, I know thoughtful and creative children's books can spark a lifelong love of reading. Thank you to all of this year's nominees. No one says writing is an easy thing, and I can only imagine the determination and the perseverance it takes to turn a glimmer of an idea into a published work. Thank you to the Wheeler Centre and to the judges, who I know had a hard job picking winners out of such an outstanding field. Finally, a big congratulations to the 2024 winners. I hope the year ahead is full of great reading and great writing for all of you.
Thank you so much, Uncle Bill, for your welcome, and thank you, Erin, and thank you, Premier. Erin's 7-year-old asked very wisely how not to write a good book, but how to write a best-selling book. And I think the correct answer, we all know, is a good cover and book talk. The rest doesn't matter. I would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of this land, the Wurundjeri Woi Wurrung people of the Kulin Nation. We're here today to celebrate and announce the winners of the 2024 Victorian Premiers Literary Awards, which honor literary achievement by Australian writers. Before I begin, a little bit of housekeeping for this evening. All the shortlisted books are for sale from our bookseller readings up top. Thank you so much to Readings for being here. If you like, after the event is over, you can buy a copy and then chase down the writers and get it signed by them. It increases the resale value on eBay. There are accessible toilets just outside the rear doors of the venue, and this event is being live streamed and recorded today, and we welcome online viewers from wherever you are watching. For those following updates online, you can join the conversation by using the hashtag VPLA2024. So that's hashtag VPLA2024. And one final bit of housekeeping, this is just from myself on a personal experience level. Being nominated feels amazing, and then not winning doesn't feel great. But, and this is very, very important to those writers who will win today, congratulations. Of course, your work deserves it. And for those who don't, your publisher can still issue a sticker that goes on the top of your books that says nominated for Victorian Premiers Literary Award, but the word nominated is really small, so it just looks like you won, and no one will know. No one will know. Our first category for tonight is the People's Choice Award. The winner of the People's Choice Award is selected by the Australian public, who we've trusted in this case, with people voting for their favorite shortlist or highly commended work published in 2023. The winner of this award will receive $2,000. And to announce the award, I'd like to invite Erin Vincent back to the stage to announce the winner. Erin?
Yes, this is the part we're all here for. The winner of the 2024 People's Choice Award is The Palestine Laboratory by Anthony Lowenstein.
Thank you, everyone. Wow. I also wanted to start off by thanking traditional owners of the land, acknowledging where we are here this evening. Our responsibility as journalists when reporting Israel-Palestine, or frankly any contentious issue, is to be fair, not balanced, and give voice to those who don't usually have one in our media. For me, over the years, that's been either Palestinians, victims of the drug war, or disaster capitalism. I've spent my 20-plus year journalism career in Australia and around the world, reporting critically on power and those who wield it. So it's a great honour to have my book recognised this evening and doing just that, which is revealing the brutal reality of Israel's occupation of Palestine and how the Jewish state uses these decades of occupation to, quote, battle test weapons which are then marketed and sold to countless nations around the world. As a Jewish Australian and German citizen, Israeli actions do not speak for me and a growing numbers of Jews worldwide. In the current Israeli-led massacres in Gaza, Israel is live testing the most sophisticated forms of surveillance and assassination in real time. At least 30,000 Palestinians have been killed since the 7th of October last year. I pay my respects to the unprecedented number of journalists killed by Israel since the 7th of October, principally Palestinian and Arab reporters in Gaza and Lebanon. My book and work has exploded globally since the 7th of October, attracting unprecedented interest and engagement. And it really shows that many people want accurate, well-researched and fair information on Israel and Palestine, and my book, hopefully, provides that. I want to thank my Australian publisher, Scribe, my American and British publisher, Verso, the many people around the world who trusted me with the stories of being targeted by Israel, my literary agent, Benithan Oldfield, and the whole Zeitgeist agency team, the Victorian Premier's Literary Award, judging panel, the huge number of people in Australia and around the world who have connected with this book, and my partner, Ali, and our 2 young boys, I love you very, very much. You give me strength to continue this work. And last, but not least, I'm standing here thanks to the reading public who voted for my book and its timely themes. As an independent journalist, I'm grateful for their support and solidarity. Thank you.
Congratulations, Anthony Lowenstein. Thank you. Our next category is the award for unpublished manuscript. The winner for the award for unpublished manuscript will receive $15,000 in prize money. They will also receive a 2-week residency at McCraith House in the Moreton Peninsula, thanks to RMIT Culture. This year, the judges were Hasib Hurani, Adalia Nash Hussain, and the convener was Ellie Richards. And the shortlisted titles are Garbage by Hayley Elliott Ryan, Laughing River by N.J. Madden, Panaha Shahil by Rochelle Morton. And now we welcome Erin Vincent back to announce the winner.
The winner of the award for unpublished manuscript is Panaha Shahil by Rachel Morton.
Thank you very much. Oh, it's very scary being here. I'm absolutely delighted and somewhat bewildered to be receiving the award for the unpublished manuscript. It's such a huge honour, and it's one for which I'm very, very grateful. Much of this manuscript was written on the lands of the Wurundjeri, Kunarakuna, Muwinina and Eastern Ma people, and I would like to express my sincerest gratitude to their elders, past, present and emerging. And I would also like to pay my respects to the elders of all First Nations communities who are present here tonight. I would like to acknowledge my fellow shortlistees, Hayley Elliott Ryan and N.J. Madden, who were equally deserving of this recognition. I would like to express my gratitude to the 3 judges for seeing something in my work that I actually was not sure was there to be seen. And I would also like to say thank you to the Wheeler Centre and Xanthia O'Connor for coordinating these awards. I'd like to thank John and Jeanette Morton for all of your support, particularly over the last few difficult years. And I would also like to thank Jo Canham for your unwavering support of writers in Southwest Victoria. And to Marg Hickey, Kate Morton and Kevin Bonnet for opening your homes to me while I was working on this manuscript. Lastly, I would like to thank Natalie Goldberg, who taught me how to write, and perhaps more importantly than that, who taught me how to stick at it. Thank you very much.
Our next category is the Prize for Children's Literature. This year, the judges were Julianne Negri, Sally Rippin, and the convener was Erin Wamala. And the shortlisted titles are Ghost Book by Remy Lai, published by Allen and Unwin. It's The Sound of the Thing, the 100 New Poems for Young People by Maxine Benebay Clark, published by Hardy Grant Children's Publishing. Who's Afraid of the Light by Anna McGregor, published by Scribble. And now, Erin, it's over to you.
And the winner of the prize for children's literature is Ghost Book by Remy Lai. Remy can't be here this evening, but has recorded the following speech.
Hi, I'm so excited that Ghost Book has won the Victorian Premier's Literary Award. Thank you so much to the judges. May I say that you have very excellent taste. I would like to thank my editor Brian Geffen and my agent Jim McCarthy for believing in this book even when it was just a one-sentence pitch and I didn't even know that I could finish the story. And I would like to thank the excellent team at Ellen Unwin for championing this book, especially Erica Wagner and Nicholas Santilli. And I would like to thank my mom, because when I was a kid, she let me read all the comic books that I wanted. And that really fostered my love for comic books and for drawing and for telling stories. But to be fair, she really only did it because I have 4 siblings. And so the 5 of us were always annoying one another and getting into fights. And so when we were reading comic books, it was really the only time that my mom had any peace and quiet. So I guess I also have to thank my siblings for being annoying. But it is a really special honor that for Ghost Book to win this award, because it is the first time that the children's category is back since 1995, and I'm so glad, because I cannot imagine a childhood without books, lots and lots of books. And so there is no better way, I think, for this category to return than for a win by a graphic novel. So thank you so much, everyone.
The next category is the prize for writing for young adults. This year, the judges were Alice Boyle, Angela Crocombe, and the convener was Kath Moore. And the shortlisted titles are A Hunger of Thorns by Lily Wilkinson, published by Allen and Unwin; The Quiet and the Loud by Helena Fox, published by Pan Australia; We Could Be Something by Will Kotsakis, published by Allen and Unwin. Erin?
And the winner for the prize for writing for young adults is A Hunger of Thorns by Lily Wilkinson.
Hello. I would just like to add my thanks to Uncle Bill for that incredibly generous welcome. I feel deeply humbled and proud to be able to live and tell my stories on Wurundjeri land. This is a slightly surreal experience for me because I attended my very first Victorian Premier's Literary Awards 20 years ago in Federation Square. It was downstairs at Zinc. Steve Bracks was the Premier, and Margot Lanigan won the Young Adult Prize for her extraordinary book of short stories, Black Juice. And for those who have read it will know that it is one of the greatest works of Australian literature ever written. And 20 years ago, I watched her accept this award, and I harboured a secret fantasy. Not that one day I would write a book as good as Black Juice, because who among us could? But that maybe one day I would write a book that I would be so proud of, and that maybe I would get to stand up here in front of all of you very beautiful and important people and accept an award. So here I am. It only took 18 books and 20 years, which I think is a real testament to like pig-headed stubbornness and relentless optimism. It works. So I would like to start by acknowledging my fellow shortlisted writers in the young adult category. Helena Fox and Will Kotsakis have both written extraordinary books that are beautiful and moving, and I strongly recommend that you go and buy them at the bookshop. You can buy mine too, that's also fine. And I would like to thank the Wheeler Centre for convening the award, the Victorian Government. And I would like to thank the judges, of course, for seeing something in my weird, feminist, botanical fantasy novel. And I would like also to thank, of course, my publisher, Allen and Unwin, particularly Jodie Webster, who has been my publisher and mentor and friend for nearly 20 years now. And I think maybe also was the one who published Black Juice by Margot Lanigan. Yeah, that she's a kingmaker. And to everyone else at Allen and Unwin, Hilary, Kate, Erica, Eva, Susanna, Suchetta, Simon, Reem, like everybody else, what an extraordinary family to be a part of.
I would like to thank my writers group, affectionately known as the Council. We started off as professional friends and have become like incredibly close bosom companions, and I feel very privileged to be able to share my writing days with you. I would like to thank my friends and my family, and particularly my husband Michael, who is not only a great co-parent and a great partner, but also is relentless in his support of me and this entirely ridiculous career. So thank you.
Next up is the prize for drama. This year, the judges were Petra Kaliv, Jean Tong, and the convener was Richard Watts. And the shortlisted works are Jackie by Declan Ferber-Gillick, published by Currency Press in association with Melbourne Theatre Company. Loaded by Christos Solkas and Dan Giovanni, originally published by Malthouse Theatre. The Jungle and the Sea by S. Shakdeharan and Eamon Flack, published by Currency Press in association with Belvoir Street Theatre. And now we welcome Erin back to announce the winner.
Tag team. The winner of the prize for drama is The Jungle and the Sea by S. Shakdeharan and Eamon Flack.
I have a strange association with Wheeler Centre, which is the oncoming feeling of a heart attack, because that's how I felt when my first play, Counting and Cracking, won the Literature Prize here, and they are life-changing, these awards. Thank you, Uncle, for the welcome. It's remiss of me not to mention that 5 years later after that award and a pandemic, Counting and Cracking is finally coming to Melbourne. I can't say who we're with yet, but please look out for that show. It's a miracle to put it on. It takes a lot of effort, and so we want to share that miracle with you. A shout out to Eamon Flack, my co-writer, Belvoir, and the incredible international cast and crew of The Jungle and the Sea. We've become a kind of family over the course of making these two shows. The Jungle and the Sea is about a family living through the Sri Lankan Civil War, and it's built out of the personal testimonies of families who lived through that war. The resounding impact of listening to those people over the last 5 or 6 years from my community was partly about the impact of that war, of course, but more so of our capacity to keep our dignity and to love and be foolish and sexy and cheeky, even when the world's falling down around our ears. This is incredible, this capacity we have as humans, to keep loving and to keep our dignity despite whatever circumstances we're in. And we forget this sometimes, but if we choose carefully the stories we tell, they can remind us of our ability to not let the institutions around us or the weight of history define who we are, but give us the strength to define ourselves. Even more crucially, these stories help us sit with our neighbour and engage in the difficult but ultimately healing process of telling your neighbour your truth while also listening to theirs. We need to do this, as difficult as it is. If we don't, the dictators and the war criminals will win, and we won't find justice. I read an article by the Palestinian scholar Dana El-Kurd recently, which has really stuck with me and resonates with what we were trying to do with The Jungle and the Sea. She writes, "A reconsideration of the nation state as the sole source of safety, as well as the notion of a state-based sovereignty, is essential. It is people who have sovereignty. People have the right to a dignified life, to self-determination, to control of their environment and a say in their future. And people can only be safe collectively by ensuring those around them are also safe." Thank you.
The next category is Prize for Poetry. This year, the judges were Sama Sabawi, and the convener was Prithvi Varathajan. And the shortlisted books are Chinese Fish by Grace Yee, published by Germando Publishing, Kangaroo Paw by Claire Miranda Roberts, published by Vagabond Press, The Body Country by Susie Anderson, published by Hachette Australia. And Erin, it's over to you.
The winner of the prize for poetry is Chinese Fish by Grace Yi.
Thank you. I'd like to thank the judges, the Wheeler Centre and the Premier for making this award possible. I am hugely grateful. First, I'd like to congratulate my fellow nominees, Claire Miranda Roberts and Susie Anderson, whose books are equally deserving of this prize. I'm honoured to have been shortlisted alongside you. Chinese Fish was written on the lands of the Wurundjeri Woiwurrung people and the Ngai Tahu in Aotearoa, New Zealand. I'd like to pay my deep respects to their elders, past and present. Writing is a solitary endeavour, but it takes an entire village to nurture and complete a manuscript and to launch a book out into the world. I'd like to thank Marion May Campbell and Fran Martin, who supported this project from its inception. Thank you to all the literary journal editors who published poems from the book before it became a book. Thank you to Ivor Indick and the brilliant team at Giramondo Publishing, Alicia Paz, Kate Prendergast, Nick Tapper and Lisa Gorton for taking a chance on this experimental work and for their enthusiasm and tireless support. Thank you to all the booksellers and reviewers. Thank you to Ely Finch for advice on the translations. Thank you to Zachary Wong for the illustrations. Thank you to the very astute Alison Wong, Coral Campbell and Helen Guildfind for reading multiple versions of the manuscript. To my very dear friends and family across Aotearoa and Australia, especially George and Zachary and Demelza, thank you for being my biggest champions. Chinese Fish could not have been written without all of you. Thank you.
Next category is the prize for Indigenous Writing. This year, the judges were Tristan Harwood, Maya Hodge, and the convener was Janine Lane. And the shortlisted works are Close to the Subject, selected works by Daniel Browning, published by Magabala Books, Firelight by John Morrissey, published by Text Publishing, Personal Score, Sport, Culture, Identity by Ellen Van Neven, published by University of Queensland Press. And Erin?
The winner of the prize for Indigenous Writing is Close to the Subject by Daniel Browning.
I'm probably the only winner of this award who's judged the award itself 4 times. I was also chair twice, and I think I emceed the Indigenous Writing Prize in 2016. So it's very strange to be here tonight. It's very, very weird. But who says you can't teach an old dog new tricks? I just want to thank my publisher, Rachel Binsala, who approached me in a bar in Fitzroy after a Black and Bright one year and said, Daniel, have you thought about maybe publishing a book? Thinking about all this writing that I was doing, freelance writing outside of the ABC. And it was her idea to kind of marshal all that work into one collection. So I'm just grateful I can go to a book somewhere and see the things that I've done, the things that I would otherwise have forgotten about. I want to thank my mum and my dad, who aren't with us anymore. My mum, for her steady hands and she could have been anything, she told us. A surgeon even, she had steady hands. But instead she chose to raise 4 kids and hell occasionally. And my dad, Doug, who had giant hands, was a Boilermaker, and whose song was Steel. And I also just want to lastly acknowledge my dearest friend, Linda Bennett, who's in the audience tonight. Thank you for the love and the support that you've given me over the years. Thank you.
What bar in Fitzroy is just for potential writers? Right. Our next category is the prize for fiction. This year, the judges were Ellen Cragen, Pirooz Jafari, Paddy O'Reilly, and the convener was Adette Kelada. And the shortlisted works are But the Girl by Jessica Zanmayu, published by Hamish Hamilton, Aidan Glassy by Melissa Lukashenko, published by University of Queensland Press, Only Sound Remains by Hossein Ashgari, published by Puncher and Watman, Serengoti by Eugene Bacon, published by Transit Lounge, and Stoneyard Devotional by Charlotte Wood, published by Allen and Unwin. One more. Always turn the page. Wall by Jen Craig, published by Puncher and Watman.
Okay. The winner of the prize for fiction is Aidan Glassy by Melissa Lukashenko.
Tingiwala Jimbalang. Dinglang Lala. Waranju Woberdong Jagun. I wrote Aidan Glassy because of the secrets that Australia has held so tight for so long. 100,000 people died on the Queensland frontier over the decades of invasion. That's considerably more than Australians who were killed in World War I. But people don't know this. Stories matter. And speaking of hidden or silenced or unpopular genocides, I want to read a poem by Omar Saka. You think I fear to enter October 7th. Habibi, I never left, I'm still there. Dying as I do every day, I admit I can't see the murdered you heap murder upon. Which of us disgraces them more, do you think? 10,000 children want to know. You think the world didn't break that day? For me, the world breaks every day. You think the heart's task isn't remaking loss? You think I won't write of your loves, when the real danger is that I will. Relax. My hands are cramped around 1 million epitaphs. It will take me roughly all the time in the world to get there. You think my poetry is a weapon, and it is. Each line is my fist striking your chest. Each stanza is my ear pressed against it, hoping to hear a single beat. Thank you.
The next category is the prize for non-fiction. This year, the judges were Esther Anatolitis, Rosemary Cameron, Mahmood Fazal, Shakira Hussain, and the convener was Sean Pryor. And the shortlisted works are Cruel Care, A History of Children at Our Borders by Jordana Silverstein, published by Monash University Publishing, Fat Girl Dancing by Chris Kneen, published by Text Publishing, Flawed Hero, Truth, Lies, and War Crimes by Chris Masters, published by Allen and Unwin. Killing for Country, A Family Story by David Marr, published by Black Ink. Personal Score, Sport, Culture, Identity by Ellen Van Neven, published by University of Queensland Press. And The Palestine Laboratory, How Israel Exports the Technology of Occupation Around the World by Anthony Lowenstein, published by Scribe Publishing. Erin?
The winner of the prize for non-fiction is Personal Score by Ellen Van Neven.
Thank you. Thanks so much. It's my cultural obligation to acknowledge the Wurundjeri Wurrung people of the Kulin Nation and acknowledge that we are on Aboriginal land. I'm quite stunned that my book was chosen as the recipient of the Non-Fiction Award. And I want to say that I'm very grateful to the judges for selecting my work out of a strong field. And I want to acknowledge my fellow shortlisted writers. I wanted to write a book about sport from an Indigenous queer perspective, about mine and others' relationship with what is sacred. I'm glad that I was able to share stories that have been underrepresented. So this win is not mine alone. It belongs to many others. It belongs to everyone who contributed to the time that it took to write the book and share the book with the world. Special thanks to my parents, Maria and Wim, and my brother Ben, who I'm sure will be watching from Queensland, my publisher, Aviva, my editors, Janine and Margot, and the UQP team. Thank you to my friends who have always seen and supported me and believed in me, including those who are here tonight. It's hard to process what this win means to me right now, but I'm grateful for the gift of recognition, money, and time, and I'm grateful that I can continue to work on my craft. Thank you.
And now the big one. The winners of the 7 main suite categories are all in contention for the overall Victorian Prize for Literature, worth an additional $100,000. This is the single most valuable literary award in the country. Please welcome the Wheeler Centre's chair, Kate Toney, to the stage to announce the winner for this year's prize.
Thanks so much, Sammy. As Sammy said, worth $100,000, the Victorian Prize for Literature is Australia's richest literacy prize, and I think that deserves a round of applause. My thanks to the judges. It's a really tough job, and you've done an amazing job, and all the consideration, all the work that goes into that, we are so grateful to you. But without any further ado, it gives me great pleasure to announce that the winner of the 2024 Victorian Prize for Literature is Grace Yi for Chinese Fish. Well done. Grace, I feel as though Sammy and I are the only people in the room that got to witness this beautiful reaction, which was so humble and gorgeous, but over to you.
Oh my God, I'm so unprepared. I'm so humbled I mean, look at this field of all these shortlisted people, all these winners. I mean, it's unbelievable. Okay, I would like to thank the judges. I'd like to thank the Wheeler Centre, the Premier, for making this award possible. Oh my goodness. If my parents were here, they would be gobsmacked. They would be astonished that this little story that I wrote even got published in the first place. But this story, which was inspired by very ordinary people like them, that it got published in the first place, but to have been acknowledged like this is just mind-blowing. I think one of the things that has pleased me a great deal since I published the book is that, which I did not anticipate, is so many readers have reached out to me and told me how much the story has resonated with their own family stories of migration and resettlement. I think that literature is crucial for illuminating the ordinary people's lives, lives that have been marginalised, hidden and erased, and for shining light on the darker recesses of the world. Literature raises really big questions and it has no easy answers, but it gives us pause. And I think those pauses are significant, more significant when you read a story and the characters in that story, their lives are so very different to your own. I think that, that kind of literature gives us the biggest pause. Okay, I'll finish it up now. So pauses. This award will enable me to have a bit of a pause and reflection, and I think that, and which doesn't mean that I'm not going to be doing anything. Pausing and reflecting is as much of the writing process as putting pen to paper and putting words on the screen, as all writers know. So I am so very, very grateful for this award. It's such an amazing honour. Thank you.
I want to keep the applause going. A massive congratulations to all our winners tonight, and the shortlisted writers and their publishers. This concludes tonight's awards. Thank you so much to Becky Sui Chen, who is our DJ tonight and will be joining Mindy Meng Wang for an in-conversation next month at the Wheeler Centre. You can get tickets now at the Wheeler Centre's website. Thanks to our Auslan interpreters, Linda and Melissa. Our photographer, TJ Garvey. Thank you to Mabu for the delicious food, Montalto for the outstanding wine, and to Fed Square for having us at this beautiful venue here at the Edge. And thank you most of all to yourselves for being here and supporting literature in Australia. Thank you.